to go over today. So I'm going to get started here as fast as we can. Go ahead and get this up and running so we can start moving. So if you are first to this type of a training, this is a Q&A. So it's about getting questions answered if you have them. Also, if you have concerns or you're not really sure about something, this is a forum that you can truly ask that question. You don't have to go and leave this training without knowing the answer. So make sure that you are writing down some notes. You do have access to get back into this training after it's all said and done. And so you don't have to just be stuck with what you got in your notes. You can come back and re-watch this and learn it over and over again. So let's kind of get started. We're going to actually start today with Personify. We're going to then move into the RUBI music. But there's just a whole lot of stuff that goes into Personify that if you aren't familiar with the reasoning for this, and let me also clarify something at the very beginning. If you are not a person who is doing marketing for a business purpose, or you're not doing it, literally for your business or for anybody else's business, you're just using it for personal use, you're doing it for communications, whatever it is that you're doing this platform for, understand that the Personify piece to this is still an important piece. Even if you're just using it to write personal communications, like write your email for your HOA, I use it all the time. To be able to create the voice that I want that delivered in without having to think about, putting it into my prompts, I just select a persona and I get it done. So Personify is used literally for everything that you're creating. Now, the other side of that is that for marketing companies, entrepreneurs, people who are using this for business, this is the game changer from anything else that's out there. And that's what I want to make sure that we are covering a lot in today's thing, so that you understand how, number one, as a distributor, how to sell it, but number two, how to understand why it separates itself away, so that you can really understand why you should be using it. So let's kind of start with Personify and how you create and why you create certain things in a certain way, what the capabilities are for Personify. So Personify, again, is to create personas, target audiences that are spot on and niche oriented. That's what it's incredible at doing. It's also a huge tool for competitive analysis. If I am going to go out in a marketing world and create content and spend all this time, effort, money sometimes, to create content, I want that content to be effective. I can't really afford to spend all my time creating something that's just fluff, that has no value and no conversions. So that's why Personify is such a major deal. When you go to an advertising agency, and the first thing they do is they start breaking down, who are we talking to? Who's going to buy this product? Who's going to buy this service? Who's going to use you? That's the first question. The second question is, now that we have who you think that we're going to talk to, who are your competitors? Who do you compete with? And then we go and do the exact same analysis that we just got from you about the target audiences, and we look at the competitors and say, what are they doing? The best strategies for marketing sometimes comes from looking at those that are successful and have already figured it out. Instead of recreating the wheel for everything, I can literally just take what they're doing, that it's working, and I can jump in the bandwagon with that, and I can get moving quicker. After I get going, conversions are there. I have metrics to tweak and fine tune. That's where Personify really comes in as a huge tool as well. So by looking at the way that we create the personas, you get to have all of those capabilities in one tool. So let's talk about creating from text. In the current version, you have two boxes. You have a box that talks about your objectives and goals, and then you have one about the product or service that you're building. What we've learned over the last 6 months is that, number one, there's the more quality content you're putting in to create the persona, obviously the better it's going to be. And so opening up to where you can have over 5,000 characters instead of 400 characters and in two little boxes, you now have over 5,000 characters that you can go at putting in to really define what it is that you are trying to create the persona around. You can dig deeper into the brand, who you are, what's your tone of voice that you want to be portrayed as. You can go into the products and services in deeper detail. You can also go into putting who your competitors are as samples, because it's going to take and process all of this to create a better persona. Another way is from the URL. And again, what we initially, discussed in the usage of persona, which was to create your persona for something that you were creating. But the secondary use of creating a persona from a URL is that you can do that to all of your competitors. Are they successful? Are they converting? Is the landing page for your competitor converting? And if so, what are they doing? And I can go in and analyze that just by simply going in and putting their URL in and running Personify. I now see what their targeting audience is. I can see what their verbiage is and how they're going about it. What's their tone? What's their voice? What are the demographics and psychographics that they're really targeting to? Now, the second part of this is to also analyze what you have already done. Not what you're about to create, but what you've already created. You already have a landing page. You already have a website. You already are pushing stuff out there into blogs and whatever else. Being able to run this on those as well lets you see if you're actually talking to the right person. And I loved it, even, and this is something that's powerful right now in the current version. And I loved Diane up in Boston, who runs an ad agency. And Heidi was there when she was telling me this about, we did is we took it and we ran it on a website that we had created, and it came back in a totally different target audience. The persona was way off. The persona was exactly the person that wrote it, right? And this is what happens a lot of times. It's more of the standard of what would happen. Because when you're paying someone to write stuff for you, they're going to write it the way they are interpreting it. It takes a lot of talent to be able to step outside and not write for you, but write for someone else. And so most of the time, writers are going to write exactly to where they're targeting, and they might not be hitting your target market. This is one of the best benefits of AI. It doesn't have an identity. It's saying, tell me who my identity is so I can go and create it. So you have that ability with the create URL. Now, let's also talk about create from social. I believe that this is one of the most powerful pieces to Ruby, is the ability to go find social influencers that are on the rise. They're on the rise, and they're getting these huge subscription bases purely because they are targeting and they're hitting a message that's resonating. And so for you to be able to find a brand influencer somewhere out there that's right on brand with you, or you think that they're selling something similar, or maybe they're just in the same genre of the target audience that you're looking to reach, by putting their handle in, you are able to go out and bring in a lot of the content that they're reaching. You can build a great persona from this. And what's great about the new versions that we have coming out is it's not just Instagram that we're doing anymore. Facebook, X, TikTok, LinkedIn. Those are 5 platforms that you can go in, put a handle, put a link of the person that you want to understand what they're doing. Go get a persona built around that, so that now when you're writing your content, not only are you hitting the same demographics and the same psychographics, you're also hitting them in the same voice and tone, so that it's going to resonate. If it's resonating for them, it's going to resonate for you. All of this is at the very beginning of Personify. Now, other thing that you're going to see when you first get into Personify is we have a 2-minute video that you will have to click through. You can always skip it, but it's going to, when you first log into Personify for the very first time, it's going to play for you. You can skip it, but we hope you don't. Because one of the most important things is understanding that 99% of the people who are going to use Ruby know very little about the details of how to go and do marketing. Even those that have degrees of mass communications, if they haven't been in the agency world and they haven't been doing deep diving daily personas, they aren't going to understand this process. So we're going to explain it to them. In a 2-minute video, they'll be able to watch as I explain all of the details as to why and how they can benefit from using Personify. Now, that video is also going to be available to them at any point in time. Now, I want to talk about 2 other pieces that will happen right at the very beginning when you start to create this. That's a little different than the way it is today. Number 1, it's faster than it used to be to create a persona, but it's also more powerful. After it runs its course and it's got everything ready to go and present to you, you're going to have 2 more options to customize, personalize your persona. So this is where you will actually name your persona. Right at the top, it's going to give you a synopsis of the persona that it's created for you. It's going to give you 4 different options, and you can read each one and you can decide which one best describes the way I think this should go. I'm going to select one of those, and this is going to be the description that's kind of encompassing everything that is inside of the persona, right? So this is a digital innovator, right? So dynamic, tech-savvy professionals aged 25 to 40. They're living in urban tech hubs, embody diversity and ambition. They juggle family life with a passion for innovation. They rely on tech blogs, podcasts, and webinars to fuel their quest for success and efficiency in a competitive landscape. Now, if I feel like that's the perfect one, I'm just going to click it. And that's going to be the description for me. Now, it may not be so much that one. I might be looking for more like urban dwellers, diverse in gender and ethnicity, blended ambition and creativity in a tech entrepreneurship sphere, age 25 to 40. They seek strategic solutions to streamline business processes. As you see in the descriptions, you're seeing the pain points and you're also seeing the solutions. And so you're going to choose which of these descriptions best fits. You're going to hit continue. And then the next thing that is a big deal for me is always to have an image that I can look at, that I can understand that this is who I'm talking to, this is what I'm building around. So with all of these things that are happening, these are now happening in the background for you. You don't have to go and do them by yourself. And they're all part of the personification process. Now, once I've created an image, I can just click the radio button and hit finalize, and it's great. However, if I don't like the image that's there, I can hit reroll, and it will go and it will create another image. Now, it does use a credit to create the reroll. It doesn't take a credit to go and run the auto-generated. You want to re-roll it, you can re-roll it as many times as you want so you get the image you want. But let's just say that you already have one that's been created and it's in your asset manager inside of Ruby. Not a problem. Let's just say it's not even in Ruby. You just found one online and you want to use it. Then you can upload that. And you'll just choose upload avatar. You'll click on it. You'll choose between the computer to upload, or you're going to go from your asset manager. And once you click that, you'll see the list. You'll just add it and you're done. Hit finalize persona. And you're going to then see the detail of that persona. So much detail that's pushed into this, guys, that will really truly make something very special for those that are really used to doing marketing. I was just having this conversation with Corey this morning. This is the second most exciting thing for me because I'm a marketing guy. Like, I'm an ad junkie. Like, I want to know everything about what makes people tick to make them work in the world of advertising and marketing. I've been doing this since 1995. And when I look at this and I see other ad agencies from all over the world starting to go, what is that? It can do that in that time? Are you kidding? I can expand my business without having to go and hire a bunch more people to do the research. This tool in and of itself would be a no-brainer for every ad agency, for every ad person that you know that does marketing for anybody else, including, I guess, their own businesses. This is a no-brainer tool at the premium level. $50 a month to have all this done for me is cheaper than 1 hour with a person that I hired that would have to manually go do it. That would take him a week. That's the power that you have with Personify. It's a no-brainer purchase for anyone in that marketplace. And I can just tell you, in every market, I don't care where you are around the world, what city you're in, even if it's a rural town, you have advertising people right in your neighborhood that would be using this product. They just got to know that it's there. So let's talk about what happens when you're there and you're inside the details and what capabilities you have today that you didn't have in version 1. So in version 1, yes, you could open up the details. You could actually type inside, like if I didn't want 18 to 24, I could go in, make it 18 to 36, and I could save it. And I could do all that in each one of the categories. I could take the verbiage and change it. But the one thing that you had to know is, what did you want to change it to? Again, 99% of the people don't have a deep marketing background. So what did we do? Every time that you are being a persona is being created, it's selecting the very best items for every single section of the demographics, the psychographics of voices and tones. However, there are also suggestions that are coming now inside of Personify. So you don't have to be the one that knows everything. I like to use age range as a good example because every demographic has to have an age range. And there are some specific ranges that are used because they are the best ones that you can judge with. I mean, they've been using them in ratings for hundreds of years and how they're putting it together. So if you don't know those, well, we supply those for you. So we also are putting out a secondary, a primary and a secondary for both the age range and the gender profile. That way you can have two different ways of looking at things. And I'm going to tell you, it's important to understand that because while you're creating content, there are a lot of places that you might have multiple personas built for the same product and service, but they're talking to different audiences. And so here, there's a little bit of a crossover, so you can be a little bit more broad if you want to be. Now, once you've gotten past all of this, it's as easy as clicking a button. Like, oh, I didn't know other options for my age ranges. This actually doesn't even show you that there are suggestions. There's actually 5 suggestions that come underneath each of the primary ages. And you just click on it. And that will change the graph. It will change everything there for you by just clicking on the button. Income levels. You want to broaden it out. Then you leave this one selected and you click on 50,000 to 74,999. And now I've got a 50,000 to $100,000 income level. Talking to 2 different people. It's broadening out the scope of who I'm talking to. If I just wanted it 50,000 to 75,000, I'm just going to click on this one and I'm going to click this one and click it off. Okay, it's just selections. Super easy way to go out and broaden out what you're doing. Up here, you'll see that this is a place where your depth description that you chose at the beginning is going to be represented. You're also going to see a way you can always change your name. Those names are what are going to be over here in your list of personas. Guys, you can have as many personas as you want. And there's a scroll bar. You can scroll forever on these. If you have 1,000 of them, you can keep scrolling through all 1,000. You also have the ability to search for it and get it over quickly. Up here at the top, you also see there's a view. And the view has 3 different looks, ways for you to see things. Now, I'm going to share with you today one of the surprises that I am not going to tell anybody about, except for those that come through the trainings, because I'm curious to see just kind of how that plays out. But I've always told everybody there's a detail view, which is what you're looking at. You have a list view that has every persona that you've ever created, that then you can go through and you can see a lot of the information just by the list view, and then you can edit it. Obviously, come to the detail view. You can remove it. You can deactivate it. Whatever it is that you want to do, you can control from the list view. But the other view that you're going to see in there is something that is real special to Personify, and part of our patent pending too is our comparison view. A comparison view letting you look at 2 different personas at the exact same time, to be able to look at those and say, where are they different? But we're in the world of AI. We don't have to literally go and look and compare back to back to back to back. I can look at them and I can get a general idea, but it's also going to come with a way for you to analyze those 2 together. When you click analyze, it's going to show you the differences. It's going to show you the similarities between the 2. And it's also going to give you a marketing tactic and strategy of how you create content that approaches both of them at the same time, where the crossovers exist. Now, if I'm a marketing agency, you just saved me a lot of A/B time. A/B testing has now become much quicker in the way that I can do this. Now, there's also a new type of persona that is going to be created for you. Let's say I've got my 2 personas. I'm looking at them side by side. I've got my information there. After I've analyzed it, it gives me 3 paragraphs about what it is that they have. Again, the differences, the similarities, my marketing strategy and tactics. At the bottom of that, I'm going to have a button that says create blended persona. Guys, to be able to take 2 personas and with one button to say blend them together and make it to where I can now create content that hits both of these personas at the exact same time. Yeah, at the same time, I keep my existing personas where I want to be very niche. I can do that. But with one button, I can get broader and I can do it in just less than a minute. It's incredible what is happening inside of Personify. Now, at the top, we also have an information eye that you'll see throughout version 2, just about everywhere you go. But when you click that, it's going to give you information about the demographics. What does it mean? If you want to learn, you can learn here. And if you want to learn by watching a video, you're going to click the little play button and the video will play for you. Lots of ways that you can learn. But it talks about why you need to know these things and why it's important. Again, 99% of people don't have a deep understanding of marketing. Psychographics. It's the same thing. You're going to be able to go through and do a lot more stuff that goes through there. One of the things I want to address with you now, though, is what about all the personas that you've already created? We can't let those go to waste. You guys spend a lot of time and effort to go build this. So we have a way at the very top, if you are looking at a persona in detail, and it's not going to have the suggestions because we don't know that yet. We don't know what this persona really is because it's in version 1. However, if I spent time and I have really nailed down my persona and I'm happy with it, I don't want to change it. Like if it's working and it's perfect, I don't want to change it. So we gave you the ability to do that. You can still use all the personas that you've ever had. You'll be able to look at them in detail. You're just not going to see all the suggestions from what we're having in version 2. Right up at the top, underneath the name, you're going to see what version that you're working in. If it's a version 1, you're going to have an update button. And with one button, you can literally go and create an entirely new version 2 persona based on what it was with version 1. However, it may tweak it. Obviously, the way that we're creating those personas is a little different. The outcome may be different. So if you're completely happy with it, leave it as 1. If you want to go and create a version 2, and then you can just go create a new one. If you don't really care, like you think that it's okay, I just want to take it, it's not going to be far off. It might be a lot better. You never know. You spent the time to fine tune it. So we're giving you the option as the controller and the creator of that version 1 to either keep it the same or to go ahead and upgrade it, and so that you can actually have it in version 2 as well. Okay, moving on a little bit. Psychographics. What are psychographics? We're going to have the same thing. Play the little video. It's going to give you what it is, how it is, why you're important to be there. You can learn. And that's going to walk you through almost everything that you can think of in Personify. This is a major player in what you're able to go do. If you can think about getting the right personas, so that when you're writing your content, whether it be your social media posts, your blogs, maybe it's a landing page, maybe it's your website, maybe it's just that you're creating brochures, anything that you are creating around a business, this is the most important piece. It's the first piece. Without this being right, you're wasting time. Without using this, you're shooting in the dark. Listen to this really carefully when it comes to explaining to somebody why they need this. If they're an entrepreneur and they're not a marketing agency, because an agency is already going to know all this, but if they're not, they're just an entrepreneur, or they're just kind of out there running things for maybe a marketing side of things, but they don't really understand marketing. Marketing today is not luck. It's not luck. There's an algorithm to everything. There's metrics and numbers to everything. There's no luck involved. And what you have here is a way for you to really hone in to get the right message the right way to the right audience to create engagement and conversion. And then it's just a matter of tweaking it to get it even better. This is the money maker for businesses. And I want you to be able to really understand to sell that, because it's truly powerful. Okay. Now, let's move on to, let me get off of this and go to our RUBI music. We're gonna do that here. I just let me check here for any questions. If you guys have any questions about Personify, throw those in right now while I flip this over real quick. You stop that. Oops. All right. That's there. Okay. Any questions? No questions? Okay. All right. We're moving on to our Ruby music now. Let me just make sure everyone can see that. Okay. See if I can get it a little bit bigger. Okay. Wow. I was able to do that. Okay. So let's go into the virtual studio down here to you'll see Ruby music. As we have maybe gone through a couple of places with you guys already, we have two different ways of creating music inside of Ruby. First one is instrumental, and it's my favorite. As much as people love the idea of being able to create their own song and have the words sang and everything like that, I love music in a way that it becomes art. That's just me. I've been musician type of person forever. I mean, back in third grade. So I love this part. And one of the things that was really important for us, and is very important in every aspect of partnerships that we do, is that we find the one company that we can be with, number one, for the long term. Two, that we can share the brand promises and the brand identities together, where I don't want to be with something that's going to hurt my brand later, hurt your brand later. So when we're looking at partnerships, they're not just taken lightly. It's not like, oh, we just went out and found, okay, that one will work and this one will work. We put them through a lot of vetting, number one, for accuracy and for the quality. You know, if we can choose anything to do text to speech, why would I not choose the very best one? Why not choose the one that's the best today and has the ability to scale into things that are out of this world, right? So when we look at our partnerships, that's part of the process. I'll give you a good example of one that we haven't done yet, and that's the avatar. I really wanted to bring an avatar piece 2 version 2 when we were in the process back in January, and we have looked for 3 months and we could not find one that we thought, number one, long term was going to be the player. The last thing that we want to do is take a lot of resources, put something in, and then find out 3 months later that there's one 10 times better. And we could have just waited. And if we weren't really happy with it at that time, we probably would have made a wrong decision. And that's kind of where we are with the avatar. I think over the next 6 months, we're going to see some drastic changes in the way that those function. And so we'll partner with them when we really feel like we've got the right partner long term. Also, we don't want to be with a company that just gets gobbled up by somebody else because they didn't have any staying power. So lots of things go into our process of bringing people to the table here. Okay, so let's talk about why we chose our instrumental the way that we did. Because we are using music theory. And as anybody has been kind of monitoring AI and the legalities of what's out there, let me put some of that to ease for you. Number one, it really doesn't affect us one way or the other. If Getty Images is suing Midjourney, the outcome of that is never going to put Midjourney down. Like, Midjourney's not going to go away. And however they work out their deal for payments going back for training off of theirs, they win, that doesn't affect us. So I don't worry about those legality pieces. But I do worry about major changes of how individual copyrights can really affect the long term. Because it's not like a big company that has all this stuff, or like Google on the video suing Sora. Like all these things, it doesn't really matter. They'll work their little deal out where there's a piece of money going everywhere. It doesn't really affect us. But when it comes to individual copyrights, like on music, It's a very big deal. Because now you're not just talking about one big company. It's not like Apple Music. Apple Music doesn't own the rights to all the music. It's the musician, it's the agency, it's the label that own those. And there's lots of them, millions of them. And when they all start to fight, I don't want to worry about being in the wrong one and then having to completely change everything. And everything that you've ever created has to be thrown out the window. And that was why we spent a lot of time going in to really getting the right partnerships. So instrumentals built on music theory. All the pieces of music that we have that we use as the base come from paid musicians for the rights. Whatever you create in the instrumental side of this, you'll never have to worry about anything that comes from the legal battles in the world of AI. Because that AI is ours. You don't have to fight for it. You don't have to go out and worry about it. So when you are an artist or you're wanting to create something to go behind your videos for the music beds for corporate videos or commercials, films, it doesn't really matter what you use this for. It's cleared to go into commercial use all around the world, and you never have to worry about an infringement on anybody. And it took us a long time to get through all the legal battles to get to where we were, and it was worth it. It was worth every dime of it, every second and every day that we're late. Because of it, it's worth it. Because we'll never have to leave it or have any downfall for it. It separates us from the other things out there like SoundDraw that doesn't have any of that protection. They've trained off of everybody's copyrighted materials. At some point, I believe in my heart, there's going to be some kind of consequence. And unlike Getty Images suing Midjourney, how are they going to be able to make it right with the millions of artists all over the world that they use to train on? There's no way to give a royalty to know if it came off of this or came off of that. There could very easily be a ruling that just says you're done. You can't use it. You can't use that model. We didn't want to be there. Okay, I got off my soapbox on that. Let's go about how to use it now. Okay, so when you get into Ruby Music, you have all of these amazing things that you're going to be able to do. It starts on the left-hand menu right here. So you have your genres, right? I'm going to spread this out just a little bit. I know it's going to make it harder to read a little bit, but at least I can see the names. So under your genres, you have your major genres: hip hop, EDM, lo-fi, pop, ambient, rock, R&B, Latin. The one that you're not going to see in there is country. We're working on it. Country is just one of those hard things to get right. So when it comes, obviously, we'll just keep adding in the new genres that we pull in. But let's just say that I wanted to go and do something with hip hop. I click on hip hop, and underneath that, I have all the styles, different styles that I can choose from that are inside of the hip hop area. Now, one of the other things that you'll see down here is you'll see these little bit different icons. These are collaborations. And the partners that we are with have collaborations in the music industry, so that we get to actually use tracks and theory that they actually use to go and create for the largest artists and labels. It's incredible. Stara, for instance. Stara is, and I don't have it there, it'll show up here when we get into the production. Stara has created tracks for so many of the major artists that you know, it'll blow your mind when you start to see what it is. I'll try to read it. Rihanna, Halsey, Nicki Minaj, Drake, Lil Wayne, they all use Star as the producer for them. And so when you start to see, oh gosh, this is going to be pretty amazing. And guys, you can take this and put it right down into Create, where I'm using hip hop and I'm using Star's style. And I have my new ranges of how I can do that. I've got to stretch this out because it's just too much here. I'll see if I can blow up my window here. Oh, that's still stayed pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I can see that pretty good, right? Okay, so now we're sitting here, we have Star that we can actually use in his theory of putting something together. I go in and I have a range of beats per minute. This is based upon the genre and the style. They have a range, and you can go slower, you can go faster, whatever it is. You can also raise it up by one. And then you have your key. You can choose a major key or a minor key, and you just choose it. You just click on the key that you want it in. Then you want to give it a name. And this is actually one of the things that we have already made a change to, is that track name is always just going to be the default. So you don't even have to type that in to create preview. Once you've got this done, you just hit create preview, and it will go very quickly and create a piece of music for you. Now, I want to pause for a second. Can everybody in the, or someone in the chat just tell me, can they hear that clearly coming through? Just to make sure that I'm playing music through the browser. Someone? Anyone? I put you all to sleep. Okay, good. Thanks. So, okay. So now that I've got this piece of music, I can do a couple things. One, I can, say I like it and I'm good with it. I can hit save, or I can say it's not exactly what I want. I'm gonna go create a new preview. And when you create a new preview, just so you are very clear on it, the song that you're listening to right now will be gone, right? It's not saved. So whatever you're hearing all the time, it's gone. You want to stay creative. You want to do something maybe it's not quite exactly what I was thinking about. So now I'm gonna get a new one. This is going to create different stuff for you based on the beats per minute. We're gonna go through the speed, everything that you want to create, you create on these. Just keep hitting create preview and new preview, and you get the one that you really like. Okay. Now, when you're dealing with different styles, you can also change the style. So let's just say I'm not going to use stars thing. Maybe I'll use CB Mix, where he's also done stuff with like Chance the Rapper, Lil Pump, Juice World. So you get a new look and feel to it. So now I've changed the style. I want to create a new preview on it. You'll see at the top, this is our line, wondering. Now we have this. And what you're looking for on the instrumental for a couple things. One, if you're an artist with the beats, so you can run your lyrics over the top. You're looking at it, you can compose to it. Well, one of the things you're going to find in this genre is also the ability to go into the loop. What's the loop? Well, I'm creating a piece of music. I want loops of drums, something that go on in the background. Maybe it's I want. That lyric is going to create new loop. I can then put my own piece of music together. And they truly don't just be loop. Loop. And it'll loop back around to the same thing. You can go into the audio video editor, create your loops, drop them in, and actually start to create a song if that's what you wish to do. Now, I'm going to tell you that the audio video editor that we have is not going to be Pro Tools. It's not going to be Ableton. It's not going to be it's not going to be Apple Logic. That you can go in and do tweaks and all these different effects on. Yeah, you can fade it up and down, and yes, you can control the volume levels, and maybe you can do some compression, but you're not going to be able to do pitch and all that stuff, right? However, if you want to make a great piece of music that's just yours, you can do that right inside of Ruby by just going in and finding the loops. So let's just say you wanted to have a melodic track. Find it, create the loop. Once you've got the preview of it, now you've got another piece that you can play in over the top. So you can put these together and beats and the same music. Artists, guys, for people who are doing this for a living or people who just love music and being an artist, this will save them so much time and give them so much more creativity to play around with. They can create music faster. They're going to be able to create high quality product because one of the things about the instrumental that really is a game changer in the audio world is that we're not just creating it and sending you an MP3 file that it is the way it is. You don't like the way that it does the bridge, or you don't like the way that the piece of music kind of goes this way, tough. As an MP3 or as a WAV file that's already mixed all the way down, it's really hard to edit those. But when we can send you stems, and what I mean by a stem is that every single MIDI control, every single cymbal crash, everything that is in this piece of music, every instrument, every little thing that was using it to create this is broken down and able to be imported into the best sound applications in the world and immediately be able to be manipulated just as if they were recorded in the studio. That is one of the pieces that just makes Ruby music stand out above everybody else. And it's all part of what you're already doing here. Now, do you always need that? No, but the artists do. If I'm going and trying to create music to be distributed around the world, I want to do that. That's where my creativity comes in, right? And this is also one of the great things about where you see AI and human creativity blend. I love it. And when you look at music and the way that those special talented people are still always going to be the special talented people that's always there. So this is going to be a lot of fun for that. So I want to hit a couple of questions here real quick. So does each preview cost credits? It does cost credits, but you're going to love it. It's only a 0.1. It's a 0.1 of a credit. So you can do 10 different previews for just one credit. And then when you go to play it, you can play it all you want to. If you download it, depending upon where your download is, whether you want the MP3 or WAV, that's 1 credit. If you want the stems, it's 3 credits. And there's several reasons for that. Obviously, it costs a lot to create the stems. And so that's the difference of it. The only time you really need to download the stems, though, is if you really are going to take that piece of music and do something special with it later as an artist, as a distributor somewhere around the world. Everything else will be a 1 credit to download. And the reason why is that what you're seeing here is a preview. And it says that right here. This is just a preview. Tracks will be mixed and mastered and on the download. So when you go to download your MP3 or you download your WAV file, it's going to be compressed down, and then that is where the final mixing will happen and mastering of it, and it'll compress it down. It'll be perfect. Okay, that's why there's a credit for the download. And then as far as just playing it, though, you can play it all you want to. You want to create a playlist inside of Ruby Music? Gosh, you can do that, and you can just play it right from your computer, right from your phone, without ever having to download them. So you have the ability to do incredible things. And then when you talk about doing stuff like our ambient over here, where you start pulling in the solfeggio frequencies, this is incredible because for 0.1 credit, I can go and create a new preview. And so now I've got my preview of the song. I can just leave this in my library and go play this through my computer. I can play this through my phone. And so no matter where it is that it goes, I can play it from there. I don't ever have to download it. It's sitting in my frame, and I can always go up there on my library. That's all part of the item. Lots of huge advantages, guys, that you can use with it. I will tell you, partner that we're working with right now, by the end of the year, we believe we're also going to have the ability to do vocal the exact same way theory, and through our paid talent to go ahead and use it. Our partners are connected to music world at the highest level. One of the things that they were super excited about with partnering with us at RUBI was that we shared the same desire to make sure that we protected the artists. And they loved the fact that we were going to do our own drops and bring those artists on our back, as well as our community grows. We give them a way to distribute their music through our community. They love that. They're all about supporting artists. And we just have the same mentality of moving forward and doing it the right way. And the last thing I'm going to tell you on this before we go into the vocals is that this is what they call fair trained AI. It's certified to be fair trained, which means that we're not using or infringing on copyright. It's one of the big things that we'll push into the marketing side as we go further to get more and more and more into the fair trained stuff that we create. Like Personify would be one of those pieces that we are looking at trying to figure out how we get that done. There's just a lot of things that are in there, but this is one that's already got the fair trained mark on it. Okay, all this is fun. You can go to create so much stuff through here. You'll see all the collections. Collections are just different types of music that are already sitting there. And by the way, when you click on like a genre and you go to hip hop, and then you click on club beats, you see that there's really nothing down here right now. This is a place that you'll see anywhere from 3 to 10 sample songs already created to represent what that would be like. So this would be a hip hop club beat. You'd see some music down here. These pieces of music, by the way, you can use just for being part of RUBI. And so we've created essentially 3 to 10 different songs that are free for you to use. They're great to be used in your music videos or whatever it is that you're trying to do with this. You don't have to pay a credit to use them. They're essentially global tracks that everyone can use. Now, there's one more thing that you're going to see when you start to save a link, and I haven't even tried this yet here because I know that they were putting it up yesterday. Let me just try it real quick. But one of the things that you'll do when you save is you're going to be able to now decide whether you want your track to be public or private. So 2 different ways, and then we're going to do the same thing with images. So if you're creating something and you want the world to be able to see it and use it inside of RUBI, you're going to start seeing places called global tracks and global images. So global tracks will have music that's been created by the RUBI community that is willing to be shared. If it's in images, there'll be global images, and anything that's been created in RUBI can be shared with anybody out there if you've chosen to do that when you've created it. Okay, so that's another new thing that will be pushed out into your music world. Our collab, that's again all those collaborations that we have. And one of the things that we have in our agreement with them is that if we get an artist and we want to have that artist make a collab for all of RUBI, we actually can do our own collaborations where they actually will work to create their own theory and their own way of creating music, create their own tracks, use their own music instruments to do that with the help of our partner. And then we'll be able to offer those just to our RUBI environment and community. So another way of adding great value. And of course, your library will have all of the music that is being created with instrumentals all in one place for you to have it here. Now let's talk about real quick the vocals. So vocals today is done 2 ways. And it is not really a lot to go with this. You enter your song prompt, and it literally can be as simple as 8, 10 words. Create a type of music. Maybe it's a genre. Maybe I want a hip hop of 2020 current, and I want it to be about something. That's all that you need to really put it in for the prompt, and the prompt is going to create the lyrics. It's also going to create 2 different music clips for you. These music clips will be between 1 minute and 2 minutes to start. And then you'll see there's an extend place where when you click extend, you'll actually be able to extend that music a little bit further from the point that you want to. So like it's got a chorus, and then you want to extend it out to another verse, a bridge, and an outro past the 2 minutes, because you want probably that song to be about 3:30, 4 minutes. So you'll just hit extend and you'll tell it to go from this point forward, and it'll pick up the lyrics from where it left off if it didn't get all the lyrics in. If it's needing more lyrics, it actually will be just in the same custom mode layout where you'll actually be able to go in and add your own lyrics. So you'll add your lyrics to this. You'll choose a style of music on your custom. This is on the custom side. Okay. And then once you've created that, you just give it a name and you'll hit generate. Very, very simple to use. And it does create some cool stuff. I mean, not every song that you create is going to be exactly what you want. It's AI. It's like it's creating this stuff, but it's creating it even with the vocals. And you hear that in the songs that we use every, like in our stuff. It's pretty incredible. This made you so asleep and your voice like a melody, it sends shivers down my spine. And the different genres, guys, you want, you just tell it what you want. Got five to tell it forward through my veins. Moving to the house, and she's here to say, gonna make your day better in every single way. So again, create all the stuff that you want here inside of the music with vocals. This is royalty free as well. So you can take this and do whatever it is that you wish to do with it. It's set for commercialization as well. If you wanted to go and create NFTs, if you wanted to go out and create Apple Music, Spotify, whatever it is, you can go distribute it however you wish to go do that with these songs as well. So it's up to you how you want to do it. Once the stuff is created over here, there's no editing. You can't go back and re-edit it or change it. You just have to create new ones. When you're using the vocals, it will cost you 1 credit to get 2 songs created. And that happens every time that you will use that. So 1 credit creates 2 songs. And then you'll be able to choose whatever. You can download those. There's no fee to download those because you've already paid to get it created. And you can rename them and reuse the prompts, whatever it is that you wish that you want to do with it. So very simple layout, very easy to use, a little custom but up here. And it doesn't take very long. I'll do one. Create 80s. I will do an 80s female voice about better life. I don't know. Okay. So when you hit generate, again, you're looking at your progress bar up here. This takes a little bit longer than obviously the instrumentals. The instrumentals is so fast in creating those tracks. It's crazy how fast that it's working there. This can take up to 25, 30 seconds to create 2 different songs for you. But just follow the little progress meter on the top. When it's finished, it will actually create 2 songs in your playlist. Now, this playlist right here, guys, these are all the songs that you've ever created. They're all in one place. You always will have access to them. You can go in and delete them. So if you're trying to save space, right, because storage is a big thing that you're kind of be managing a little bit here, is if you're not using a track, just delete it. That way you're not leaving it in your list. Like if I know that this track right here isn't what I want to use, I'm just going to delete it from the process so I don't have it in my storage anymore. Okay. So it's just the way of kind of managing and organizing, but it's very fast, very easy to do. I'm going to wait for this one to wrap up here. While it's rendering, any questions that you guys have on this stuff? I'll tell you one of the things that's going to be fun is to see how people use the music. Global tracks are also available with this. So when you are out there and you're creating these things, one of the things you'll have options here is to go public with it or keep it private. And so if you're making something that you want everybody in the Ruby community to have, it's awesome. You can do that and push it out there. I think it's fun to see all the special occasions that can be just elevated with music. Music is that worldwide communicator. And so being able to create all these little, tracks that are just maybe sentimental to, your mom, your dad, or whoever. Okay, we got 2 vocal ones done. So here it is, Living the Dream. See what it is.
Grew up in a small town, dreaming big dreams didn't fit in, but I knew what it means to reach beyond the walls, to spread my wings, leave the past behind, hear my heart say, life's a roller coaster. It's a wild ride, but I won't let it bring me down.
So anyway, guys, you can have a lot of fun with this. It's also something that you can really use to help push your brands, go out and drive your social media. All of it is not going to get, you're not going to get nailed on the social side for infringement. So much capability all now in your hands with RUBI Music and Personify. So super excited that you had it here. I'm going to open it up just one more time for any questions that you may have, and then we will wrap it up here for today. All right. Well, I will play a little music while we do that here. All right, so no comments, no questions. All right, guys. Well, we'll wrap this one up. Have a great rest of the week. Look for pushing people into our Thursday Vision Cast, and then of course FlexCast as we go even deeper into what's going on in version 2. Have a great week, everybody. Thanks for putting the time in. Today, the first 5 people are getting their legal docs to say, yay, let me in. And then we are going, okay, wait, explain taking it to, okay. Yeah, so Melinda, you are able, let me turn this down so you make sure you can hear me. You are able to take these tracks to any distributor that you wish to go through. And there's lots of services that allow you to do that. So we don't distribute those for you. We are distributing ours with our RUBI Music Drops, but you would be able to take that and find a service that would actually take and post your stuff up around the world into Apple Music or whatever. You create your own accounts. There are services that do that. They also track all the royalties and the payments and all that stuff. So I would probably encourage you, if you're not in the artist world and with labels and know how to do all that, to just get a service that handles it for you. But you're not going to run into any problems in getting that to market. So hopefully that will help. I'll tell you what I'm excited about is when I can go in and I can create playlists that I can push to Spotify. And when I got my music into Spotify, now I have my own playlists for whatever I'm doing, my own workout, my own meditation, all the things that I wish to have a playlist for. I can now create my own music to push in there, and that's going to be a lot of fun and things I can use for creativity and just, I mean, my sleep, all the things that you kind of use music for in the world of relaxation, meditation, excitement, energy, driving. I mean, whatever it is that you're looking for, to be able to create the music of your own and put that in there is pretty powerful. And I can't wait to see how everybody is going to use that. So with that, guys, have a great day. Go out and keep talking about RUBI. Get RUBI going. I hope you're excited as we are about all the new things coming. And just remember that Personify is one of the most powerful things you'll ever have your hands on to go and make you separate from everything else in the marketplace. Blue water, baby. Blue water. So have a good day. We'll talk to you all soon and see you on VisionCast.